Shut up and sit down.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Shop Talk, April 26th, 2021. You're going to watch this on the 27th when it is aired, but we are, like we've mentioned before, not live. So, just want a quick update. We still are having technical difficulties as far as our second camera. We don't have access to it. I guess so we'll just leave it at that. So you will not see Roofy again today.
Hey.
But he will be behind the mic. He's still controlling our Google. That's about it, right? You got the Google, you got the mic. He really does everything besides us talking. So if you guys don't mind just leaving a like in the comments.
It's like that weird voice when you're walking through the mall.
Yeah.
And it like comes
Like,
over
where
you
did,
and
where,
you're
did
like,
that,
what
where did that come from?
the heck
Real
is
quick.
that? And then you're
Yeah.
like, oh wait, it's just roof.
It's just That's all. But today, we kind of want to open this one up with baseball. Noah and I kind of got our love back for the game. Not back for the game, but just kind of a reminder when we watched the game last night, Dodgers-Padres. We will get into that. But I want to give a little shout out to Uncle B. You know who you are. I know you watch the podcast. But
Be swizzle.
the Oakland A's, yes, mighty correct, B Swizzle. They are on fire in the MLB right now. They have a record of 14-8. And before they played the Orioles, they were actually on a 13-game winning streak. They were lighting up the rest of the league. The Oakland A's are by power ranks number 2 in the league. By winning percentage,
Who's
number
wrong,
3.
you know?
I believe it's Dodgers.
Dodgers probably, yeah.
It goes Dodgers, A's, Padres in power ranks.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's pretty. It's a heated matchup right now and they're actually tied for third best in the league, with their winning percentage. I forget who is tied with them.
Okay.
But the Oakland A's are on fire, and it's kind of exciting, right? Pops, my dad is a huge Oakland A's fan. He's from New York, but for some reason he decided to be different. He decided to go with Uncle Brett, or Uncle Brett decided to go with him. One or the other.
However it worked out.
They went California boys,
Yeah,
and they're some Oakland Athletic fans. But props to them. They've stayed strong. I know all three of us are Bears fans, so it's nice to see something of one of our teams winning. You know what I'm saying? So you got to root for what you can.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so they're actually on fire, and 5 of their 9 starting players are hitting over 250.
That's impressive.
And I believe 3 or 4 of their starting 5 are hitting over 300 right now. It's unbelievable. When I looked at these stats earlier this week, I was like, "Oh, Uncle B knows what he's talking about," because he's hit me up on text. He's like, "Yo, you got to talk about some Oakland real quick." And I was like, "Well, I'm a Yanks fan. I don't know how much we're gonna get into that one. When it comes to baseball, I'm pretty heavy on New York, not the Mets. The Mets. They can go do whatever they want to do.
They can run their own thing.
I'm a Yankees fan, and when you're Yankee blood, you're Yankee blood. But I mean, Uncle B texted me this week. He's like, "Hey, you're a sports podcast. You should talk about all sports. Let's get versatile in the studio real
100%.
quick." And he said, "Check out the Oakland A's." So I did my due diligence as far as that, and 14-8, 13-game winning streak before they met the Orioles. Their winning percentage is .636, so 636 winning percentage. They're on fire, dude. They're absolutely on fire.
That's impressive.
So I wanted to absolutely mention them, let everybody know, go check out the Athletics. It is unbelievable to watch right now. It's a fun game. As you said last night, it is a pretty game to watch.
It is a beautiful game.
You said pretty. He counteracted. He said, pretty? And I was like, I get where you're coming from. Maybe you don't quite understand. But then you said beautiful, and I was like, that's the correct
It's a
adjective
beautiful
to
game.
use.
It's a beautiful game.
Oh, it's
I mean, it's
beautiful.
just, I don't know. I feel like it's almost therapeutic in a way, dude. I mean, the way it works, everything is just,
when you understand the game.
100%. You have to understand the game. If you don't really understand the game,
The appreciation is hard
you can't
to get.
appreciate it the way that
Absolutely.
you could. But gosh, it is just a beautiful game.
Yeah.
And
So to keep on the baseball kind of perspective, Ohtani, right? That's the name?
Shohei.
Yeah, Shohei Ohtani. This is just a quick stat. I don't know really anything about the Los Angeles
Angels.
Angels, besides that Trout is one of the best players ever to play the game.
He's going brazy right now too.
He's
hitting 393.
Is he really?
I'm pretty sure that's what he's hitting right now.
Holy cow! Do you mind looking up what is that? Are you serious?
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Mike Trout batting average.
Wow.
Pretty sure it's 393.
While he's got that, Ohtani is the first pitcher to start a game that'll be tonight.
It's 393.
Yeah.
Wow. Almost a 400 batting average.
That's impressive.
Now, for folks who don't quite know baseball is a very hard sport to play, right? And when you can hit even close to 300, you are considered a Hall of Famer.
3 out of 10 times you're Hall of Famer.
3 out of 10. It is a game of failure. And Mike Trout, now it is very early in the season.
It is very early.
But he's hitting almost 400.
But no, yeah, there's one guy I think he's hitting 444, which is unreal. I don't know how many at bats. I don't know any of that, but I'm pretty sure guy leading the league in batting average right now is hitting over 400.
That is ridiculous.
But I'm pretty sure Mike Trout's top 3-4.
That is absolutely ridiculous. But
he's
what
top
I was
3 or 4 at 393. That's just ridiculous.
See, that's just beautiful. That's what
that's
the beautiful.
Just pretty, dude.
When that adjective comes in, that's where I really
That's
understand
what
it right there.
I'm
That is
saying, bro.
beautiful because when you understand how hard it is to hit a 99-mile-an-hour pitch, who can also give you some cheddar, give you some English, as I figured out the word was yesterday. I was trying to figure that
Throw
one
a
out.
hook at you that's 15 miles an hour slower.
Dude, that's unbelievable.
I mean, it's just
When you can just cheddar that one in real quick and you're like, hey, I throw 99, but here's a little 82 real quick, deal with that. And then I'm going to come back with you with a 101.
It's virtually impossible, and these guys are doing it. Like you said, it's a game of failure, but these guys are doing it at a rate that's almost considered. They're almost hitting it half the time. He's hitting 444. He's almost hitting it 1 out of 2 times.
And that's unbelievable. You and I have both played baseball, and that is hard to come by.
That's insane.
But as I was saying, Ohtani is the first pitcher to start a game. That's just tonight, so Monday night, which is when we're filming. So he'll be the first one to start a game while also leading the MLB in home runs. Right now he has 7 since the Babe Ruth 100 years ago.
It's a long time.
100 years ago.
It's a minute.
Are you kidding me right now?
It's a long time.
He's about to. There's a reason it hasn't been set in 100 years. It's hard to do.
I don't know. It
There's
doesn't
never-
happen.
There's never been
it doesn't
a pitcher.
happen.
Sorry if you guys are hearing this. We got neighbors that are just moving stuff around. I don't know if you can hear this in the audio. We can hear it being in the studio. I think above us they are moving everything in that room.
They're just dragging bricks.
They're just
they tied a bunch of
dragging
bricks
whatever
to
they can find.
a rope, and they're just dragging it.
So I apologize if that comes through on the audio. However, that is an unbelievable stat. If it
No,
hasn't
it's
been broken
insane.
in 100 years, there's a reason.
Because it
And
doesn't happen.
Ohtani is a once in a lifetime. He's a generational player.
The cool part is this is what they were talking about before he came over from Japan. They were saying, look, this dude is leading the league in home runs in Japan, which is not a soft baseball league. They play good baseball over there in Japan.
Just because it's not the MLB doesn't mean it's easy.
Dude
Baseball's a
was
hard sport,
leading
regardless
the
of where
league
you
in
play.
home runs. But then also he was the best pitcher in the league. So beforehand they were like, yo, this guy could be something crazy.
And
Unless
Los
it
Angeles
doesn't
got him
translate.
way deep in the draft too. I'm pretty sure.
They stole him. I don't even know how they got him.
Do you mind checking when?
I don't think he went into the draft.
OHT.
I think he came in as a free agent.
I
think he somehow came in as a free agent. I don't think he went into the draft.
He didn't go in the draft.
I
So
do
the
not
Angels
think
were just like, yeah, he's probably pretty good.
he got offered a bunch of contracts.
He was
for
the
sure.
first pick of the Fighters in the 2012 draft.
Of the Fighters? What does that even mean?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So I think you're right.
I
was
don't
a free
think
agent.
I don't think it was the traditional way of coming into the league.
I don't.
I'm
know
pretty
who the
sure
Fighters
he
are.
was because they were talking about when he was allowed to
It
come
looks
over
like we
from
got a
Japan.
correction by Ruben.
That's my bad.
No, all good.
That was the
That was the Japan.
Japan League.
Yep.
Okay,
That's my bad.
that
Let me
was
find.
interesting.
No, all
He was
good.
the number 1 pick in Japan though.
Well, that makes sense.
That
As
makes
he-
sense.
As he should.
Bro was pumping 100 and then is like, "Yo, give me a bat too."
Yeah.
Mm.
Let me put some.
He
wood
didn't do through the draft.
Yeah. Okay.
He just
So-
signed with the
He
Angels.
was
a
not
free
drafted. He was he came in as a free agent. I'm pretty sure. If I'm not
Wow.
wrong.
Yeah. No.
And it was just a bunch of teams offered him contracts, and he basically just picked, and he chose L.A. Not even like the L.A.
No, not the Dodgers.
He picked the Angels, but he's playing with Mike Trout now. I mean, that's That's just ridiculous. And he was talking about, like, it's going to be really cool to go out there and throw against these guys like Bryce Harper, throw against these guys like Mookie Betts, like all these dudes. But he was like, but also, I'm trying to hit off Kershaw.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hit off
No, he's
everybody.
trying to be the best.
He's like,
of the
I
best.
want to do that. All these other pitchers are like, yo, if I don't got a hit, don't hand me the stick because I don't want it.
No, I'm a pitcher for a reason.
This dude is like, no, I want to go yard just as much as Trout does.
Yeah, I want to go
if
yard
not more.
just as much as I want to give a strikeout.
And now he's tied. There's 8 guys with 7 home runs in the league right now. He's one of 8.
Speaking of the 8,
Yeah.
Tatis. What you got on him?
Tatis he's hitting 246 right now, which isn't amazing after we just talk about.
Oh,
the
I don't
A's.
care. I will go to say above 200 in the
Oh,
MLB.
no, it's ridiculous, but I feel like it gets downplayed after we just talked about the A's and there's 5 guys batting over 250.
That's fair.
So, you know what I mean? 246 is still legit. Legit.
Yes.
And he's also tied with 7 home runs as well.
And he's hit 5.
He hit 5 in
the
this
past
series
3
with the Dodgers.
He's hit 5 home runs in the past 3 games.
And, I mean, those are arguably the best pitchers in the league.
Their 5th string is who pitched last night.
Yeah.
His last name is K, and he pitched.
Dustin May. Yeah.
He pitched 10
10
strikeouts.
Ks. 10 Ks through what? 5 or 6? Did he throw 6?
6 through 6 innings
with 1 run.
Oh.
Gave up 1 through 6 with 10 Ks.
Now we watched this whole
bro
game.
Was dealing.
And we thought when it was 7-1, when they put up 5 in I think like the.
It was 7-1 in the 7th inning.
Yes, I think they put up 5 in the 7th or in the 6th. When they did that, you and I both looked at each other. We were on the couch in our living room. We were like, "Yo, this game's over.
Ain't gonna work.
Do we have anything else on?"
There's no way.
And there was nothing else on, so we were like, "No, we'll keep watching.
Yeah.
See what happens." And we kept watching, and oh my goodness, did this game turn out to be a thriller,
dude? I mean that was a really good game. I mean, what did it go? 12? Did it go 11 or 12?
It went 11.
11.
It went 11.
All of 11 though.
Oh, all of it.
All of 11.
Absolutely all of it.
Padres, if you weren't watching, ended up winning 8-7 in through 11 innings.
Mm-hmm.
We're down 7-1 in the 7th inning. End up winning 8-7 in the 11th, which is insane.
Now, where I struggle with this is when they changed the lineup. They brought in Clayton Kershaw on a full base situation.
Right? I thought they were bringing him in because he was going to go on the bump.
So right.
And then he didn't go out to the bump.
He came in.
He just pinch hit
as a pinch hitter, and then he struck out. And the next guy they bring in is a guy who has never hit a ball into play in the MLB.
Doesn't have
he brings it to a full count, and then swings on a ball that would have called the game
for the Birds.
Are you kidding me? Where's the mindset? I hope one of you guys can give us some clarity on why that was a situation.
On the managing plays by the Dodgers there.
What was the point of that?
In the 8th or was it the 10th?
I don't know. I thought it was like the 9th.
It was the 8th or 9th. I think it might have been the 9th. It was bottom 9. I'm pretty sure it was
what
bottom
is the
9.
point of that? What is the point of bringing in your starting pitcher and then another guy who has never put a ball into play in the MLB and just hoping that this dude does something with 2 outs? It's not like if he pops one up, sacrifice fly, guy tags on third, he comes home. That can't happen with 2 outs. So now you're hoping this guy puts it into play on the ground.
Yeah, no.
He's never done that in his life in the MLB.
It was questionable, bro.
Where's the logic
I
on
think
that?
If they play that situation right, they win that game in 9.
It almost feels like...
Bro, they had bases loaded with 1 out.
Yes. The Dodgers loaded the bases so many times
4 or 5
last
times
night.
that game.
So many times Sunday night.
Yeah, the announcers after the game were like, I didn't think we'd talk about how many runners that the Dodgers left stranded, but it came back and bit them in that.
It absolutely bit them. It was unbelievable how they just left people out there with how much firepower the Dodgers have on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous.
It is unbelievable what they have.
Every time their top of the order came in, it went 1 through 6. 1 through 5 or 6 is actually just unfair.
Unfair.
Just unfair.
out the waz, dude.
And every time it happened, we were like, God, how is that allowed?
How is this fair?
How are you allowed to do that? How do they have the money to do that?
I don't know, but
But
baseball
they
has a
did
lot
it.
of money.
They did it. There's a lot of money in baseball, especially if you play for the Dodgers. So
But then you look at the other squad. And
Padres.
You got Tatis. You got Machado. You got Snell.
Yep.
You got Darvish.
Yep.
And you're like, yo, this team could put together
They've
a
put
squad.
together a little bit of a squad, and you said they're top 3 in the power rankings.
They
now.
are.
Dude, they're gritty. I mean, they
They're
never
top
gave
3
up.
in the power rankings.
You know how
and I
many
think they're
teams would have
fourth.
just thrown that? We're in the 7th inning, playing the Dodgers. We're down 7-1. Let's just
You know how easy that is to just give up?
throw it. I
Should
mean,
be
we
like-
play 162 of these things. This ain't me. Let's just go.
It does. I mean, it's especially, and you could even tell the mentality after the game was like, that was a long game, dude.
It was 5 hours.
Yes.
It was a 7 o'clock game. Didn't end until 12:30.
And then this reporter comes up to Tatis and he's like, yo, tell me how you hit a home run.
How do you hit home runs?
I'm like, excuse me? Is this a serious question right now? And then he said, what are you going to do tomorrow? And Tatis was like, well, I'm going to relax and eat. And the reporter was like, that's it? And Tatis was like,
I played a 5-hour game.
and I've played like 4 games in a row.
I just hit 5 home runs.
Get off my screen, dude.
Like, yo, let me go home.
What? Do you even know what you're talking about?
I don't know. Yeah, Tatis is he's going off though. Like I said, he's got 7 home runs,
Did
tied
you
for first,
see?
but he's done it in the least amount of at bats. That's what's impressive to me. But
Did you see that the video of all the MLB players saying like, who's your most favorite player or who's changing the league right now? And everybody was like,
ever said Tatis?
It's got to be Tatis. Everybody, bro.
Yeah, he's nasty.
He's fun to watch.
He's a lot of fun.
But that's it for this the first half of the episode. We're gonna come back with some NBA for you guys. But yeah, we'll be back on the second half. Appreciate you. Hey everybody, welcome back to Shop Talk, April 26th, 2021. We had quite the
Strip sack.
off air, a little bit of a fumble right there. It was a good break we had right there. That was fun right before we came back on air. So we're gonna switch gears real quick. We're gonna go from MLB, put it down into 6, and we're gonna go into NBA. What do you think about the Nets championship run?
I think it's becoming more and more interesting as we get closer and closer to the end of the season.
And how do you mean? Because I know you got some strong questions / thoughts on this, correct?
I do. They've only played 7 games together.
Meaning Kyrie, Harden, and KD.
Yes. And BG if you want to throw him in the mix too.
But
At full strength, they've only played 7 games together and probably less with Blake Griffin as well.
But Jordan, Griffin, KD, Harden, and Kyrie have never played together.
No.
But you continue.
They also they have some of the worst defense in the league when they do play together. It's score the most points. I'm going to put up 150 and hope they only put up 140 type ball.
As you brought up last night when we were watching, this is Monday, right? So we were watching Sunday night's games. When you brought up, oh, it's just whoever gets the ball first, they're going to score.
Oh, dude, it was literally like,
It's me ball.
Katie's got it. Katie's going to score. If Katie scores here, the next time down the floor, Katie's going to give it to Kyrie, and Kyrie's going to be the man.
Yes.
It's not, let's move the ball. It's
like
not a
I
Golden
scored
State
last
offense. It's more of, yes, it's your turn now.
I scored last time,
It's-
now you score.
Super interesting dynamic that will probably end up working just because of how much firepower they do have.
So let me ask you this question real quick.
Yeah.
When it comes to chemistry, how far does that run them in the playoffs? Do you
Chemistry?
think they can win a championship based on we have 3 guys who can solely put up 45? Because
That's
if
what's
they
making
play,
this interesting, dude.
if they play the Lakers, now you add what's his name, big boy number 2, who just joined the
Andre Drummond.
Yes, you add him, So maybe he doesn't have the full chemistry of LeBron and AD. But that team has chemistry. That team
Yeah, and you don't even really need that
together.
much chemistry with Drummond, considering we're just throwing him in the paint so he can get every board.
Right.
He's not an offensive threat. He's not this. He's
So
not
do you
that.
think firepower?
He's just there to grab him.
So let me ask you this: do you think firepower can outweigh chemistry?
It's a great question, and that's what's making this more and more interesting as they continue to not play together.
They don't.
And they seem to be fine with that. Steve Nash doesn't seem to be worried about it whatsoever, which is super interesting to me, which is why I said it's just getting more and more
Especially
interesting.
comes from the era that Steve Nash comes from.
Steve Nash was all Team Chem.
Oh.
All Team Chem. The 04-05 Suns. It's just unreal chemistry between him, Sean Marion, Amari Stoudemire. I mean,
Yes.
it's just
Yes.
it's just a ridiculous team dynamic. And now he's coaching a team in which he's not coaching a team, he's coaching individual players.
He comes
And he's not even coaching because we're almost past that level. Like, what can you teach Kevin Durant? What can you teach Kyrie Irving? What can you teach James Harden? You can't teach them anything.
He comes from a
But you
team
can
ball.
manage that.
He comes from team ball, and now he's coaching me ball.
He's coaching me ball. And, I mean, Michael Jordan said there's no I in team, but there's an I in win.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, yeah.
It's a super different dynamic. I don't know if we've seen this kind of dynamic really ever in the league ever before.
And
Maybe something close, but not something like this specifically. It's super different.
What scares me about this is if this team is successful at making this long run, because now we got a play-in tournament. And then we got the playoffs, and then we got the 7-game series in the championship. If this Nets team can make this run and win, is that going to set a new standard for other teams as far as, we don't need to build from the draft. We don't need to build from the roster that we had the previous 4 years. We just need to bring in firepower for 1 year, and if we can pay these guys for 1 year, then we have a chance at the playoffs. Because if that's the case, I don't want to watch the NBA anymore.
No, yeah. The NBA is really walking a tightrope right now with...
And Adam Silver isn't doing jack squat about it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about off air a couple weeks ago that during the David Stern era in the NBA,
Yes.
Chris Paul and Kobe Bryant were not allowed to play with each other.
Yes.
They
I
tried
remember
to
you
get
bringing this
themselves
up.
on the same team. David Stern stepped in and said, sorry, that's too overpowered. And now you have Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant.
Little spillage
You
again.
have
Apologize,
everybody.
guys.
I mean, it's like
I know you saw that.
two very separate NBAs and two very separate standards for which these teams can operate under, and what these clubs can bring in, as we see what the Nets are doing right now. It's just real weird.
So when it comes to chemistry, right? So we covered that. But tell me this: say Harden, say KD, or say Kyrie, one of the three has to step out, right? When it comes to injury, or it becomes a religious factor for Kyrie. However it may seem to fit, if one steps out, can two of these superstars lead this team?
It's a great question. I think they can do as much with two of them as they can with three.
Who is your in order top three? It goes KD, Harden, Kyrie.
Same.
Okay. Because when I was listening to this broadcast on Sunday, it said that Kyrie handed over the reins to Harden.
Kyrie is now listed as a shooting guard for the first time in his career.
When I heard this, I was like, oh no, Kyrie did not hand them over. He was forced to. Because Harden is better basketball player.
Kyrie's not putting up 16 assists in a game. He's
Kyrie-
lucky to throw 4.
I will say, Kyrie is the best ball handler to ever play the game.
I believe that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is where his best ever starts and ends.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to a all-round player, there's a
He's
reason.
also one of the best finishing point guards around the rim.
That's very fair. But there is a reason when he put up only No, when he put up 0 assists in the playoff game with LeBron, there was a reason, even though it was a win, there was a reason LeBron pulled him aside and chewed him out. And the whole locker room heard this because it was so loud. LeBron chewed him out. He was like, yo, you can't put up 40 points with 0 assists. You are not a teammate. You're a me player. Kyrie is not the best player on that team. He's not the second best player on that team.
No, he's not.
He is a third best player, and he did not hand over the reins to Harden.
Mm-mm.
He was forced to give them to him because Harden is a better player.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page there.
100%.
My third point with the Nets championship run before we run into our last topic, which is the updated MVP race, which I want to get into. We only have about 6.5 minutes left. Is the Nets' depth. Do they have the depth to run 3 7-game series if need be in the playoffs?
Very good question as well. How well are these guys that they have on the bench right now? How tested are they?
Because almost all of your cap is going to the top 3.
Yeah. So I mean, they have a very good team, but at the same time, it's like you have a good team up until a certain point.
Yes.
If these 3 guys, and here's a point that I wrote down was, if the injuries that they have been all going through throughout the entire season, if they are real
injuries,
if these injuries are real, if these injuries are legit, will they be too injury prone to even make a legit run in these playoffs?
Because it seems like in the regular season, we're hurt
Nobody
every
can
3
stay
weeks.
Nobody can stay healthy for more than a month.
Nobody. So if that's consistent, right, and that'll prove our point as to episode 7, which was our main point at the end of the episode, was the league is soft.
Yeah, no.
And if that is consistent through the playoffs, which again will prove our point, as these guys are faking these injuries just to be healthy when the times come to come get a ship, is it real or is it fake?
Right. And then another question is, regardless of these injuries being real or fake, will they even be game ready, given the fact that they've taken half the season off?
Dude, it's Jordan, right? Jordan, Kyrie, Kevin Durant, Harden, and Blake Griffin have never played an NBA game together. Maybe they've practiced together. Maybe they've done scrimmages together. But when it comes to in-game play, there's a different level of chemistry that you need.
Oh, yeah.
You need to know where somebody's going to be.
Tendencies,
with a pass.
where are you going to put it?
You need
if
to
we're
know.
running a fast break 2-on-1, what are you most likely to do?
You got to have the step ahead.
Yeah.
And that's what the Lakers have because LeBron, AD,
they've done it
they
before.
have this.
They've been there, done that.
They've done it.
This team has not.
They've actually won a championship together.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this team, yes, they do have the firepower for each individual to put up 45. They have that. But when it comes to these crucial moments, as in late game points or fast breaks, they don't have the chemistry to be like, I 100%, I 90% know where you are going to be when this situation happens. When you've never played with somebody on the court, you don't know.
It's a different game.
If I practice with you, there's nobody really guarding you in practice. When I play with you in a game, that player is guarding you.
Let alone that person guarding you is LeBron James.
Right. And he's guarding you to the point where you are not going to get the ball. No. As a 3-4, as a 2-3-4 even, you have one of the best defensive players playing against you in the finals.
Yeah.
You can't anticipate everything. And that's when it comes down to chemistry.
Yeah. And
when you have, for me, I don't think Brooklyn has the depth to know where their chemistry lies.
I would agree. And I think we're going to figure it out. And like you said, it comes down to on-court chemistry that is only learned by playing. And also, as we all know, if you're an athlete or if you have played sports before, you can train for an entire off-season. You can train your ass off for an entire off-season. But when that first game hits, you're like, wow, that took a lot out of me.
I'm trying.
Game shape is completely different. It's
Oh.
something you can't prepare for. The only thing that will prepare you for game shape is playing in games. And if you're not playing in games, how are you supposed to be 100%
You can't be.
in game shape?
You can't be.
So if you don't have the team chem and you're not that in shape, how do you expect to win an NBA championship?
You can't. You quite literally can't. Especially when it comes to that.
So I think we leave that at that. But
due to time,
Interesting.
I want to cover, because we only have about 2 minutes and 15, 2:30. I want to cover this NBA MVP race.
Mhm.
Now, Jokic, the Joker, the
Cookie
Nuggets Cookie Monster, has been number one, top of the totem pole for weeks on weeks.
Mhm.
I would not mind seeing him win the MVP
I love
because it'd be the first center to win an MVP since Shaq when he was with the Lakers. Okay, and he's
His numbers are
averaging
better than Shaq's. when you
averaging
want them.
27 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists. There's nobody on this list that has better averages. Now, on this list, number 2 comes in at Embiid, Joel Embiid for the 76ers. He is averaging 30 points, 11 rebounds, so same. But then the NBA took off his assists and then replaced it with blocks, and it's only at 2.
And his assists were only at 3.
I'm
So-
taking Embiid out of the MVP race.
11 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks.
He does not deserve it for me. So when I look at the MVP race, I mark out Embiid. Then you look at Giannis. You got 29 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. He's a valid number 2 when it comes to stats.
He's valid top 3.
But when you look at Giannis, right, you see that he's won the past 2 MVPs, but his team is inconsistent. Now, I know last week I said it's MVP, not MVT, right? You're not looking for the best team. You're not looking for the best teammate. You're looking for the best player in the league. But that's not Giannis for me, okay? Then you go to number 4, Luka. He's got 29 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. For me, that's number 2. That is a consistent player. He's got almost 30 points. He's quite literally 1 point away, 2 rebounds away, and 1 assist away from averaging a triple-double.
With 30 points.
With 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. So that is his almost average. I see him as number 2.
Mhm.
Now, this leads us to number 5. And this is where you and I both think the man, the myth, and quite literally as far as past the last month, the legend,
Yeah.
Stephen Curry.
Wardell.
He was number 9. We're going to go a little over today, guys. We're past 30 minutes. The timer just clicked off. But I need to talk about this. Steph Curry was number 9 last week. He is now bumped up 4 positions to number 5. He is averaging 31.1 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. To me, that is your number 2 or number 3 MVP leader.
And it's I would even put numbers aside. What he is doing on the basketball court are things that the NBA has never seen.
Quite never seen.
Never seen. And if you want to compare it to something, it'd be the last time he did this in 2016.
2016 against LeBron.
So, if we're going to compare him to anything, we just compare him to his previous self.
Yes.
But if we ixnay that because it's him, the NBA has never seen the things that he's doing as of right now on the floor. And he's arguably doing it better now than he was in 2016.
Yes.
And that was an insane, unbelievable year. Nobody could believe what they were watching. I think it's on another level now than it was in 2016. And the fact that he's in 5th
It's uncomparable.
for the MVP.
Now, as much as I want to
almost
see
disrespectful.
a center win the MVP, I don't have anything against Jokic. I love the Nuggets.
Yeah.
I have nothing against the Nuggets. I love Jamal Murray. I love Michael Porter Jr. I love Gary Harris. I love this team. And I loved them last year in the playoffs. And when it comes to Jokic, I would not mind seeing a center win this MVP. But you can't deny the undeniable. And that is Curry. Curry is putting up numbers on a team that gives him no backup when it comes to winning games. I mean, this kid,
He's winning games by himself.
he's literally winning games by
He's
himself.
basically won 30 games by
putting
himself.
people on his back and shooting shots when there's 20 seconds left on the shot clock, and he's shooting them 4, 5, 6, 7 feet from the 3-point line.
More.
And
It's
Kerr isn't mad.
No.
He just watches the shot because he's like, oh yeah, it's probably
Because they
splash.
fall. Dude, shooting 50% from the 3-point line. I mean, they're falling quite literally half of the time, and he's pulling up from the logo.
Now, with that being said, young athletes, you can't go into games thinking that this is just it happens, right?
It's not how basketball's played.
That's not how you
That's
play
not good basketball.
You play with the
There's
shot
only one
clock. You
person
play
that
with
can
your
do that.
teammates. However, Curry's off this planet, bro.
There's only one guy that can
It's
do
unbelievable what he's
Literally
doing right now.
one guy that can do that.
It's unbelievable.
It's him.
But we're going to keep an eye on that guy, right? I'm sure as most of the world will do. He is unbelievable, and it is just fun to watch right now. It is crazy to see the ESPN highlights, the Bleacher Report highlights, the Sports Center highlights. It's just fun to watch to see what Stephen Curry does because it is quite literally from a different planet. However, we have reached the end of our episode. But I want to give a little shout out to Buzzsprout. In the link in the description below, you can get a $20 Amazon gift card and support our show if you create a paid podcast account. Buzzsprout, is a podcast program that allows new podcast creators to build a show with ease. They get your show on all major platforms, and they offer different paid accounts starting at $12 a month, which is really easy and awesome and affordable considering everything they offer, such as directory help, monetization help, and provide statistics. Where is it at? There it is. So the link that you can get if you aren't on YouTube, right, if you're just listening, is www.buzzsprout.com/refer_ID equals 1674703. Again, if you go to this link, it does help support our YouTube channel. We don't get a lot of money from this. We're doing this out of our hearts, out of our passion for sports, our passion for technology, and being behind the scenes. But it does support us. We really do appreciate what you guys do. Go check us out on Instagram, on YouTube. It's at Shop Talk WLN, correct? Awesome. That's our episode for this week. We'll be back again next week. This is episode 8. We got episode 9. And episode 10 is going to be a vlog. It's going to be something new, something different from Noah and I. We're going to be at, what's the island called?
Kiawah Island.
Kiawah Island in South Carolina. We're going to be at the PGA Tour. So it's going to be fun for us. We're going to be there. We're going to be in our gear. We're going to be potentially talking to some big golfers. So stay tuned for that. Got some big thing planned. And we potentially got something big for Rufus Lucas over the summer. We'll see if that formulates in anything. But we appreciate you guys' help. Last video, as of right now, is at 1.3 thousand views. And we're close to 250 subscribers. So we really do appreciate you guys' love, you guys' support, and just telling people about our show. Thank you again. This is Logan. That's Noah. That's Lucas behind the scenes. We know we can't see him, but thank you, and we'll see you next week. Peace.